All right, welcome back to Cozycryptidgaming. As always, I'm your host, Cozy. Pronouns he, him, because I don't think I've said that before. Um, and happy belated Halloween, everyone. In honor of that, we're going to be playing Vampire Survivors, specifically the Vampire Survivors and Castlevania crossover DLC, um, all of that. Um, hey, happy Halloween to you too, Icelos. Um, I know we're streaming on a slightly different day this week. That's partly because I spent the weekend at a. Actually, I went to my first furry convention at FurPocalypse. It was an absolutely wonderful time, and honestly, it was a great time. Yeah, belated Halloween. Why not? Spooky season can stick around for a little while longer. I don't really have a lot of Thanksgiving decorations, and I don't quite want to put up the Christmas ones yet. So, but yeah, um, but yeah, yeah. There even was trick or treating at the convention. Like people could go to various rooms that had special door hangers on them, and you could knock for candy. It was great. It was a really great time. But the main part of this stream is going to be Vampire Survivors and the info dumping about the very small number of Castlevania games that I've actually played or know anything about. As a quick heads up for Vampire Survivors, and I'll make sure to put this in the description when I post the recording. Uh, the screen can get very busy, so if epilepsy warnings are something that you need to take into account, this game definitely has one. It hopefully won't get that nuts, but it can be there can be a lot happening on screen. Oh, Oleander. I will get to Gurgoth. We will need to fight Gurgoth in this because that is necessary to unlock certain characters. So, quick overview of Vampire Survivors. This is a roughly roguelike game. Like you're doing multiple runs of kind of the same thing, getting better over time, unlocking new characters, etc. But in this one, the only active controls I will have is being able to move my character around. Everything else is automated. How frequently things attack, how much damage they do, what direction they attack in. All of that is run by the game system itself. Actually, we'll go to the power ups. Some of these things will change those, like cooldown, your weapons attack slightly faster, amount, you get extra projectiles. There's a reason I have got this on. It's so useful. Um, yeah, as you can tell, I have played this game before and played a fair bit of it. But yeah, let's get into things. Um, Also, there is currently no game audio because there isn't any on the main menu. When we get into one, we'll do a bit of an audio check. Um, but yeah, like up here we have various characters who were in the base game. Down here we have a lot of the Castlevania characters. Um, in particular, I'm looking for Julius Belmont and Soma Cruz because they are from the Sorrow duology, Aria of Sorrow and Dawn of Sorrow from Castlevania. And unfortunately, at least in this default list of unlockable characters, my boy, my special favorite, Nathan Graves, does not appear to be in here. That doesn't mean he's not hiding somewhere as a secret unlockable character, but I am a little sad about that. He's from Circle of the Moon, which is a Castlevania game of debatable canon status. But we'll get into that. So yeah, what I need to do is unlock Julius by finding the second coffin, and then defeat Gurgoth as Julius. So we will get to Gurgoth. But since I don't have any of those unlocked, we're going to go with you know what? We're gonna go with Yada Cavallo. This is this is just a panda who throws little cherry bombs at people. Um, he's great. Um, yes, give us the special boy. Give us Nathan Graves. Give me Nathan Graves. Where is my boy? Let's get started. Actually, just as a sound test, we're just gonna start up in the forest. Okay. How is the background music for everybody? Is that coming in for people? Is it too loud? Can I still be heard over it? Look at the whip. But yeah. I do have the like sound effects turned down, but that's more of a me thing. Just because it can get there can be a lot of beeps and boops going on later, and it can become distracting. It's a little quiet, but that's not a bad thing. Okay, yeah, then we'll probably keep it where it is, just for the sake of me being able to chatter. Actually, since we've done that sound test. We also might bump it up a little because I'm pretty sure there's actual Castlevania tracks in the proper DLC. And yeah, actually, this will be a good. You have your results for how long you survived, the amount of gold earned, what level you got to, enemies defeated, your various weapons and accoutrements. But yeah. But yeah, let's go with. We're still gonna go with Cavallo. There's a bunch of different areas you could go to, but this is where we'll be setting up shop. And yes, so Castlevania, as a game series, has been around for quite a long time, and it's gone through a couple incarnations of like what the games are like. The old ones were just you are trying to get through a castle with just the whip that you have, a few, maybe a few other tools, and whatever various items you happen to be able to find on the ground or in the walls. This is the origin of having like a roast chicken or like some kind of like cooked chicken as a healing item. That comes from Castlevania. So we're gonna go with Santa Water, actually. I might have a. Oh yeah, actually, there's a little chart of what things will upgrade stuff. So I tend to like the items that have upgrades from extra things that I enjoy having. But we'll get to that later. But yes, so Castlevania has gone through, like, it used to just be a like 2D platform where you're just trying to get through the castle and fight Dracula and defeat the evil vampire. Eventually, it became part of a genre called Metroidvanias, a portmanteau of the Metroid games and Castlevania, where there was still usually 2D, but that did eventually change over time to include 3D games, where the point was, exploration, getting new equipment or abilities that would let you backtrack and whatnot. Hello. We will take. Oh, I don't know if the mic's gonna pick you up because it's actually this one. But you saying? Yeah, sorry. Ediford is here. Just chiming in. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, we should talk about furry conventions.
Oh.
Is largely a furry platform.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, actually, we'll talk more about that. I might actually, actually. Also, let me swap the mic inputs actually while we have this pause, so we can do that.
Maybe somebody found your channel from this weekend and will drop in.
Quite possibly. But yes. Where was I? Oh yeah, which one of these do I want? We will take the Spellbinder because that is a fun. Yep, there we go. So yeah, you can see certain of the weapons will evolve with certain other items, and it actually has a little pop-up telling you that. So we'll take the King Bible. Oh, but yes, so when they became the Metroidvanias, they were focused a little more on exploration, being able to double back, explore new areas with new abilities. That's the point where I got into the series with Circle of the Moon. Mostly because they had it as like a demo kiosk at like the various stores near me. Oh, there's a chicken. And also, I believe like the Nintendo Power that was in my middle school revived once with 50% health. Like had a game guide portion for like the very beginning of it, so I ended up getting the game and really enjoying it, and was never really able to beat it because it's a little hard. It takes a lot of inspiration from the older ones in that you are a vampire hunter in a castle full of enemies. There is only what you can find to help you, and it's not very forgiving with some things. Like, all of the equipment upgrades you can get are entirely based on random drops from enemies, or not entirely random, but we'll take the armor. I need to get rid of these little imps so that the coffin can open. But yeah, that's Circle of the Moon is where Nathan Graves comes from. He is not a Belmont, does not have the vampire killer whip, and Dracula isn't even like really the villain of that game. I should explain who the Belmonts are. The Belmonts are basically a family of vampire hunters who are basically cursed to forever fight Dracula. And Dracula in the Castlevania series is less of a single vampire and more the like theological antithesis to the monotheistic god. Oh, who do we have here? Thank you, Yata Cavallo, but the vampire is in another coffin. Okay, we have unlocked which Belmont? Leon Belmont. I have not played a game with him in it. But yeah, the Belmonts they're a family of vampire hunters. They are sworn to always fight Dracula and oppose him and other creatures of the night. Because there are some games where Dracula's not around, but you do play as a Belmont, or sometimes there are like other games where there's no Belmont around, but Dracula's still here, or maybe there's even cases where, well, there's no Belmont around and Dracula's not here, but there's still nasty things crawling out of the woodwork. Portrait of Ruin, I believe, is like that. Yeah, so the Belmont, they're just a family of vampire hunters. If I remember some of the lore from the older games, one of the original Belmonts was friends with the man who then became Dracula. So part of it is also in addition to any sacred vows they might have, there's also this personal connection of I couldn't save my friend from becoming a monster, so we're going to make sure that he can't hurt people again. But yeah, in Circle of the Moon, Nathan Graves is he does have a whip. There is the famous vampire killer whip, which is the Belmont family weapon. it is like blessed to be able to fight the creatures of the night and vampires specifically. This is the whip that Trevor Belmont in the Castlevania Netflix series uses. Haven't actually finished that series, but it is a fun time. But yeah, instead Nathan uses something called the Hunter Whip and a set of tarot-esque cards that are themed around mythical creatures and various Roman deities. Combining one card from each of those sets gives you different effects and changes how your whip works. Sometimes it turns it into a different weapon. Sometimes it gives you different stat bonuses. Sometimes it has other stranger effects. I'm not sure what all of them are. I enjoy the game. I'm not necessarily the best at it. I've actually been replaying it on the Castlevania collection, which they re-released the Game Boy Advance games and then the DS era games in 2 separate collections that are available on Steam and Nintendo Switch and maybe other consoles, I forget. But yeah. We're gonna go. Yeah, we're just gonna upgrade our Bible. But yeah, there's not like a ton of story to Nathan Graves' one, and he's like, you're not like Dracula's there, but he's more like the big bad spooky thing that you fight at the end of the game rather than an actual antagonist. The actual antagonist is another recurring vampire, Camilla, which should be Carmilla, but there was a misspelling when they ported the game over, and they just kind of kept it, at least for that one, and when they did the remake of it, or updated re-release, I guess. There are so many monsters in this. But in terms of actual Castlevania games that do feature Belmonts, and kind of feature Dracula, we have the Aria and Dawn of Sorrow games, where you primarily play as this kid named Soma Cruz in the year 2035. So, coming up in like a decade or so. Who goes to Japan, or is like depending on I think in the American translation, he's a foreign exchange student. But he goes to a particular shrine to go watch the solar eclipse, and then gets teleported inside that eclipse. Turns out that's where Dracula's castle has been. And he doesn't really know who Dracula is, because Dracula was permanently defeated at some point. So why is this castle still around? And you go through the game exploring the titular Castlevania, and uncovering some mysteries about who Soma might really be. Spoilers! He's Dracula's reincarnation. It's actually pretty nice. What is this? Okay. I don't know what... Am I just being healed by angels? I'm not sure what that was. I might be stuck. This might be bad.
Oh no.
Well, this is what roguelikes are like. Sometimes you, sometimes you just don't make it through the run.
Hello, friends. Ediford is joining.
Yee.
I think I am currently trying to bully Cozy into playing more Sonic games on stream.
Yeah, I played my first level of a Sonic game the other day, and I get it now.
He played his first level of a good Sonic game. Then I made him play Adventure 2, and he was very upset with me. But anyway, hello, friends.
Legitimate question for you. How on earth did you not just quit on video games as a concept?
I just thought they were all like that. I thought they were just like... Also, it does play better on a TV that's, like, in the correct aspect ratio and everything. Like, I do... It's a poor doctor who blames his tool, a poor, artist who blames his tools. But, I do find, like, it's weirdly harder playing it now on, like, a big, like, nice modern TV when I'm, like, used to playing it on, a lousy little CRT in the basement.
Fair. Icelos, to answer your question, the good Sonic game is indeed the new one, Sonic X Shadow, or Sonic X Shadow Generations.
Yes, it is. It is the one he has played is the repackage of Sonic Generations, which originally was for, I want to say, PS3, which was a console I did not have, and therefore I did not play it, despite hearing good things.
Yee. And then
By the time I had a PlayStation, the PlayStation belonged to people who thought Sonic was lame, so I never played it.
Do they know?
They know. They definitely know what they are doing, Isolos. They absolutely know. Though in my day we said Sonadao. That's in my day. But yes. But more to the point, we went to a furry convention this weekend.
Yes.
We went to FurPocalypse in Stamford, Connecticut.
Yeah, I mentioned that briefly earlier on. But yeah, it mostly just that we went and it was a lovely time. But
yeah, I know that Picardo is kind of a furry platform, so like, we continue to sort of wobble around the fringes and the edges of the furry fandom. With great respect, to be clear. We are not tourists in a hee-hee, we laugh at the furries way. We are tourists in a, like, we don't fully go here, but we really like the vibes, and we really enjoy the creativity and the artistry, and also just the energy. Like, this was a really fun convention. People were really nice and cool. Everyone felt very approachable. Everyone was very friendly.
Yeah.
The staff were enormously helpful, enormously accommodating, both hotel and convention. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I praised it, and like all of the attendees, I encountered like one person who was a little awkward, and I realized towards the end of the interaction that they had just genuinely crit failed a read the room roll.
Yep.
And
Which happens.
I will not give any more details because I think that would be rude, and because, that could be a call-out post on a furry platform, but if you were the accidental panel crasher, it's okay. You are forgiven. We've all crit failed a social roll. But yeah. Everyone was just really super nice. Like...
Yeah, it legitimately some of the most fun I have had at a convention in years.
Yeah, it was just like so nice. And the variety of programming was very fun. I was delighted by what different things there were to do. Like, I went to a panel about aquarium keeping, which is a hobby of mine.
Yeah.
And I didn't learn anything new, but my friends did. So
yeah. Yeah, that was a good time.
They got to hear it from somebody else instead of me, so they got some slightly different opinions and perspectives, which was good.
Actually, there was a panel that that will become relevant to this stream later, because it was a back-to-back panel of suggestions for space-themed movies and space-themed video games, some of which will definitely show up on this stream at a later date. We're taking Rune Tracer. I love this weapon.
Throw my water bottle.
Yeah, go for it.
Momentarily.
But yeah, just really lovely time.
And there was trick or treating.
Yes, I mentioned briefly that there was that, but yeah, it was. We had such a blast with the trick or treating. That was so the convention actually started on Thursday, so it did start on Halloween.
Yep. And there was because it is a full buyout of the hotel. Like there were not any. As I understand it, there were no like non-attendees staying at the hotel. It was because it's a conference center style one. So everything was contained to one building, and there were no people there who were not part of things who might be bothered. Which is good, because as I understand it, the room parties get wild. We tended to stick to the more, like, family-friendly side of things, like, just official events and, like, that sort of thing. Yeah. But, so I don't know much about the room party, like, side of things. I don't know if there were any incidents, but... At least the areas and times of the convention we were at, things were really quite tame.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's very respectful of boundaries. For those who don't know, it's pretty common practice for furries, especially if you're in like a full suit, to have like various little tags on that are like, "Hey, I'm approachable for like hugs or chatting to," or "I can't hear in this thing." So
Yeah, everyone's very like it's very normalized to like just communicate your needs, which is like I just love that in a space. Like it's very just very accommodating of like sensory issues, ability issues, all of these things. They just seem to be a great energy and understanding, and I think that's less indicative of this specific convention and more like furries in general, because I think it's a bit of a "we're all mad here" vibe. Of like we're all a little unusual, and therefore no one's really gonna judge anybody else for anything.
hang on, I have to interject. Are these supposed to be like
Yeah,
evil?
I was gonna say, are these women with vacuum cleaners?
Yes, I'm trying to decide whether we should refer to them as like evil maids, or are they just modern witches who use vacuums instead of brooms?
Oh, I like that. I like the second one.
I also like that
Mod witches.
because there's a in 2 of the Zelda games there is a witch in training who is a kind of modern witch and does in fact ride a vacuum cleaner.
It's very cute.
She's great. The Oracle games are some of my favorites.
Because I was delighted by the variety. There was the space stuff. It was a space themed event, space horror, because it's always something spooky.
Yeah.
Because it's always on Halloween. And this one's theme was space.
Gotta go to space.
Gotta go to space.
Hello, giant bat. Oh, they have full-on vacuum monsters. Interesting.
But yes, I just wanted to say that it was. If any of you happen to somehow find this channel from hanging out at FurPocalypse, welcome. It was lovely to be there.
Yeah. Honestly, I will probably just add FurPocalypse to the tags when I post the VOD for this.
Yes, it includes a review.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and again, admittedly, we were not, at every event. We were tended to be go into our room to watch cartoons.
Yep.
By.
Or hanging out in the gaming rooms and whatnot.
But I want to shout out, panelists who were particularly fun, like the group who did Change the Game, which was Bootleg Game Changer. Yes, I do have cosmic horror suggestions.
Yes.
As I mentioned this one at the panel actually, but so horror in space. One, I felt very vindicated at this panel because the host was all, oh, I don't know, this next one, I don't know, you might think I'm wrong for this one, but I think Gravity is a good film, and to my surprise and delight, everyone in the room seemed to agree with this assessment. There was a lot of affirmative sounds agreeing. I think you have to really, give yourself the closest thing you can to a theater experience to watch it. Don't watch this on your iPhone.
Yeah.
The film Gravity, I have some beef with Alfonso Cuarón, the director, but it's still a good movie. I may have mispronounced his name, I apologize, but also I don't respect him, because I don't like him. But it's a great movie. It's just about an astronaut. You may remember the trailers for it, you may not, but it's Sandra Bullock as an astronaut who is caught basically just in an accident and is cut off from help and has to get herself back to Earth to safety. And it is harrowing. They used some really interesting technology you really feel like you are in the void of space, and the killer void of space is seconds away. It's an incredibly immersive film that really leans into just the sheer scariness of just space.
Yep.
The emptiness of it. But it is definitely you gotta get a big screen, get some good sound, either good headphones or a good surround system.
Turn off all the lights, black out the windows.
Put yourself in pitch darkness and really sink into this one. Put your phone away.
Yep.
You gotta experience that one. But it's worth it, in my opinion. It's a very gripping and immersive film. Another good scary space film is Europa Report, which is a little hard for me to say. But it concerns, as the title would imply, a trip to the moon of Jupiter, Europa. And it's just, again, leans into just the scariness of space itself, of being just so far. It's a small team on a vessel that, we don't have FTL. It's going to take years to do this. It's going to take a very long time for them to get to Europa. It's fairly hard sci-fi, and it's focusing on that isolation, that being trapped with only like 7 other people for like 4 years with nobody to help you if something goes wrong. Like, nobody's gonna get to you in time.
Yeah. At those distances, even like communication back to like, Houston, we have a problem would still take days, weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a days long delay for any communications, that kind of thing. Again, very hard science fiction and scary just kind of by virtue of being hard science fiction. Like realistic space travel is terrifying, y'all. And I won't spoil the ending, but like there is also like once they get there, there's obviously some spooky stuff that goes down because it's a scary movie, but it's much more about the journey. Like, it's very low budget. It's, one set, the shuttle, small cast.
Not a cursed doll. Sorry.
Yeah, it's very like it's an indie Canadian film actually. Like, I don't think there's any actors in it that I recognized when watching it. But it's a fantastic film. Everyone does a great job. Like, I'm kind of surprised I haven't seen anyone from it in other things since, because like everyone's really good in it. So Europa Report.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix currently, I think, but I think it's leaving soon, so get on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and the various video games, we'll get to those at a later date. But I was very vindicated by saying to a crowd of people, I liked Borderlands the pre-sequel, and everyone cheering. Because it's not everyone appreciates that one, but I do. I like being able to run around in zero gravity as a little robot with laser guns.
I'm actually going to pull up... Do I still have the schedule app? I do, so I can review my schedule and remember people's names who ran things.
Yeah.
Because, the ones that are really good, again, if furries are watching this, they might know people, and I want to make sure I shout out people who do a good job.
Yeah. I can't tell if that's a record or like a slice of ham. Let's find out.
I specifically wanted to mention the group that did, there was a whole bunch of people, for the, there was a panel that was a bootleg Game Changer, Dropout's Game Changer, and it was really good. Both, the host was fantastic, the contestants were great, the PAs, the support team. The host was, Ryoko Amasafi, is I think how you would pronounce that.
I believe so, yes.
She's a blue wolf.
Yep.
She was great. She was a very good host. But the whole I don't know if they have like a name for their group because there was a whole bunch of people. But they did a fantastic job. The room was packed and they kept the energy up. They did a fantastic job recreating the energy of the program with like their own furry convention themed spin. It was great.
Yeah.
And
they threw in a bugbear. Sorry, that little dancing eyeball thing with the lightning at its tail is, according to Dawn of Sorrow, a bugbear. For those of you familiar with D&D, you'll notice some differences between what we would normally think of as a bugbear.
Just removing the things I didn't end up actually going to because I don't want to falsely review them.
Fair.
Crafting Cheese was the name of the person who ran the space media panel.
Yeah.
Since we're referencing that a lot.
So much chicken. Don't like the weird eyeball bugbear. No. Go away. Leave me alone. You're not a real bugbear. You're not fuzzy. Ooh, but there is a treasure chest over here. We'll take that.
We also went to the official dance, which was... I was, like, a little nervous. I thought that was going to be very intimidating. That it would be, very horny, possibly druggy. No, it had the energy of a middle school dance if, like, the mean kids weren't there and you could just be yourself and have a great time. It was super fun. Like, everyone was just very... there was a guy dressed like frickin' Robespierre. Like an 18th century, like a 19th century French aristocrat. Like...
And he was tearing it up the dance floor.
Yeah, tearing it up. I think he got in like a battle with like a guy in a Demon Slayer hoodie who was breakdancing really well. It was great. It was a really good time. I was cyber goth like bridge rave dancing with someone in an Against Me jacket. When they dropped Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You" as the beat drop.
That was amazing. That took out the entire crowd.
And I sailed into space. I left the planet. That was really fun. I was very nervous to go, and then it was a very fun, like, not self-conscious time.
Yeah, just a lot of really wholesome, fun times at this convention.
I've technically been to one other furry convention, but I was a table assistant and did not do many activities. I mostly sat behind a table and, like, maybe walked around twice. But I don't think I, like, went to I don't think I actually, like, went to anything there. I think I just hung out at my friend's art table. But that one was, like, specifically a convention that was, like, meant to be child appropriate. Like, it was explicitly a kids furry convention.
Yeah.
A kid-friendly one, at least.
Okay, we're actually getting into the part of this Castlevania DLC where I'm recognizing enemies from the, like, 3 games I've played.
Huzzah!
Yeah, so the skeletons with the barrels are called skeleton apes. Ooh, didn't know this gets extra revised. We'll be taking that. They will throw the barrel at you. It will explode. It is a Donkey Kong reference. And the floating mannequins with blonde hair are cursed dolls, which if they hold true to... Okay, it looks like they don't do what they do in the games. They show up in Circle of the Moon, and if they hurt you, you temporarily cannot attack. It is occasionally debilitating. You can, however, still do the little, like, slide attack that you have. You just can't use your whip or any of the, like, special attacks that you get. No, I'm getting overwhelmed. No. Why couldn't I find garlic before this? Santa Water King Bible. We will take King Bible. We need something in close melee range. And actually, the maids actually might be Persephone's. Which I don't know why they're called Persephone. But here we are. The naming schemes for Castlevania enemies is not always clear. But yes, the Aria and Dawn of Sorrow games, you play as Soma Cruz, the reincarnation of Dracula, as he, in the first one, fights his way through the titular Castlevania to be able to get everyone who is trapped in the eclipse back out, and also resist the pull of destiny or fate or what have you to become Dracula. And he succeeds at this. And then in Dawn of Sorrow, a year later, some assorted villains show up with the goal of trying to either resurrect Dracula or find someone to take his place, because they believe that since Dracula is sort of the antithesis to the, like, monotheistic, good god, if there isn't an evil, then how can there be a true good? And the game really doubles down on the idea of, no, Soma, you earned your happy ending. You always have the choice to not become evil and to just live the life that you actually want to live. if the universe really needs, like, some other form of evil, the universe will provide it. And I really like the storytelling in those two games. Aria, which is the first one, was for Game Boy Advance. Dawn was for the DS. The various Castlevania collections do a great job of adapting them, and including adapting some of the touchscreen features. But in terms of Belmonts, we actually meet the greatest Belmont, the most successful Belmont, the one that I'm trying to find the second coffin in this area so we can unlock him and play as him, Julius Belmont. Because in a series of events that have never actually been adapted into a game, in the year 1999, Julius Belmont permanently defeated Dracula. That's why he reincarnates as Soma Cruz. Instead of just, resurrecting at some point. They did it through a series of events that get, explained in Aria of Sorrow. But yeah, Julius Belmont succeeded. He finally ended his family's curse, obligation, sacred duty, whatever you want to call it, to be fighting the forces of evil forever. And that's kind of cool. But in the Sorrow games, you basically get to play as him, so you can experience the what if Soma didn't wasn't able to resist the pull of becoming evil and succumbed to the evil of the castle, because Dracula's castle is kind of implied to be a living thing in and of itself. But yeah, you get to play as Julius, and also some other characters in Dawn of Sorrow. You can swap between a few people.
Nice.
But as we said earlier, sadly, my favorite special boy, Nathan Graves, is not in the initial list of unlockable characters. But maybe he's hidden somewhere, because he is shown in the the art spread for in the trailer for this DLC. So I'm thinking maybe he's hidden somewhere. Maybe he's some extra special secret. Because again, he's they've gone back and forth on whether or not his game is canon. There aren't any Belmonts in it. Dracula's only kind of in it. It's a little bit of a mess. But it's a mess that I enjoy. Alright, let's see what this arrow is pointing to us. It looks like it's a wardrobe of some kind. But yeah. Actually, if there's any other questions about other Castlevania, any Castlevania stuff, I have seen most of the Netflix series.
I have thoughts on the Netflix series. Ediford has thoughts on the Netflix series.
Oh, and yeah, actually, if you want
to... I have, and they're not all, I don't mean that now, fuck that. That I don't like it. I just mean that I have thoughts on it. Genuinely, yeah. There are things about it I like. There are things about it I don't. But before we get to that, I'm going to be a brief negativity corner with the space horror question. I'm also going to give a anti-recommendation to something that I sometimes see in recommendation lists, and I'm like, no, don't read this. Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes, I believe, is the one that is set in a... Make sure it's the right book. I want to make sure I'm reading the right one. I might have the author's name wrong, and I don't want to besmirch anybody.
No, that's fair.
The book was Dead Silence. I know that. I want to make sure I have the author's name right.
I'm going to admire this giant Medusa head. I like Medusas. I think they're a cool design.
S.A. Barnes, Dead Silence. I'm not dissing the author as a person necessarily, but heck, this book, it is a salvage on a lost spaceship. Like a salvage mission goes wrong on a lost luxury space cruiser.
Okay.
And it's all the people on the spaceship went crazy and attacked each other, and it just, between that and some stuff with the main character, it just has a understanding and portrayal of mental illness that is shockingly uninformed and outdated for when the book is written and set. It was written in I think 2017, and it's set in 200s or something, and the main the main medical officer of the ship apparently has just never heard of schizophrenia. Like, the main character has PTSD and hallucinations, like, persistent schizophrenic style, like, that are consistent with certain forms, but, like, yeah, I do not like this book. Author clearly did not do a modicum of research into how these types of mental health conditions work. And yeah, it's just really relies on, like, some, like, that would be starting to be outdated in the 70s tropes about mental health.
Oh, that's really disappointing.
I really did not like it. I don't usually, like, get on a soapbox to diss books, but, like, yeah, I see it often recommended as, like, you know, great space horror. I'm like, it's ooh, hallucinations, scary, crazy people, go crazy and stabby. That's no good. And I did not, yeah. So anti-recommendation on that. Netflix Castlevania. I don't know a whole lot about the Castlevania series, but I know enough to know the thing with the Netflix Castlevania series is that it's a Castlevania adaptation second, and it's a Warren Ellis show first. The guy who writes it, Warren Ellis, is of a flavor of comic author that I have very mixed. Like, he's made some really good stuff. He's made some stuff I don't think is really very good at all. He's an edgelord, and he's kind of just a jerk. Like, I know from some behind-the-scenes, like, comic industry that he can be just kind of, like, if you're not in his little club, you don't exist. Like, he's very, like, he's very, like, elitist. He is, like, but, and he has a very certain style that is on this series. Like, there's a lot of, like, the Castlevania series is a proper, like, the game series is, like, I'm not an expert, I don't know much about it, but it's proper gothic vampires. We're being spooky. There's a degree of class to it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a degree of elegance.
Yeah, even the games that don't take place during, like, gothic literature times, or, like, medieval times, still have that vibe.
Yeah, there's a regal air to the characters. There's even the Belmonts, who are a little more rough and tumble, are, like, still very, like, classical hero.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
they have a sacred duty to fight the creatures of the night.
Yeah, and they all kind of, you know, reflect, you know, with varying degrees of, like, some of them are bad boys a little bit, but, you know. And the series is, like, this sweary, like, edgy thing where, like, Trevor's a drunk and a scoundrel and a washed-up loser, and, like, again, lots of cussing, lots of, like, scatological and sexual references. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so edgy. And it's not the same vibe at all as the games. Like some character, like Alucard feels kind of like himself from what I've heard other people say.
Yeah, from what I've...
It's not bad. It's just, it's very different in terms of, like, tone. It's you have to know what you're getting into, and if you liked one, you may not like the other. There's enough, like, just
or you
vibes
might
difference that, like...
Or you might like them for different reasons.
It's got a lot of, like, very strong anti-Catholic Church messaging, which, like, I'm not against, but, like, you know, that it gets a little, like, preachy and, like, so, like, I don't think the Netflix Castlevania is bad, to be clear. I think, like, there's some parts of it that are really cool. There's some parts of it that are quite fun. And some folks really, really like it. I'm not necessarily saying they're wrong, but it is an entirely different cup of tea from the game series, and, yeah, liking one is not a guarantee that you'll enjoy the other.
Yeah. It is also worth noting that I don't know... I know they did, like, a sequel series that is, like, more closely following a particular game. Yeah, well, but the original run of the series isn't following a particular game either. It is like it at least kind of wears the sort of doing our own thing bit a little bit on its sleeve by not adapting any particular game. But I think the sequel series does adapt one, but again, Ellis is not really involved in that one.
Yeah, like, it's such a Warren Ellis comic, the series is, before it's a Castlevania anything. And It's like, but there are parts of it there. Also, they didn't use any Castlevania music until like the end of the second season, and that is oversight.
That is an oversight. Like, the music for this game series is genuinely quite good. The main reason I have it turned down is just so that you can hear us talking. Also, my audio setup is also being a little wonky. So like
you've played this one before.
I have also played this before, and like most of the actually a lot of the Castlevania music is available through Spotify, and I believe is available through other venues as well.
Yeah, it's all on YouTube too.
Yeah, it's also all on YouTube.
Yeah, you can absolutely find it on YouTube.
Yep, there I go.
But yeah, so I think like Netflix Castlevania not going to be everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah,
but also not bad. The one thing I will say is like as an objective criticism is like, especially in like season 2, they like the villains are really well developed to the point where they kind of just forget the protagonists exist entirely for like chunks of it.
Yeah,
like it overdevelops the villains. Like if that's like, and I love a well fleshed out villain, but like there's that chunk of season 2 where like for like 2 or 3 episodes, Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard are just hanging out in a basement, bickering. Well, like, the villains are doing all kinds of stuff.
Yup.
And, like, it becomes about them instead. It's not bad. Again, it's just, like, it's good stuff with these villains, but it's just like, who is the show about?
Yeah, a little bit.
That would be my assessment of Netflix Castlevania.
Yeah. And, like...
Okay, just like, yes, that is what the problem was with season 2. Like, I love Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac's great.
He's not supposed to be the lead.
Huh. But yeah, trying to think. Other thoughts I have on the games. Again, like, I've really only played the Circle of the Moon, Aria of Sorrow, and Dawn of Sorrow. I know a little bit about some of the other ones. In the Game Boy Advance era, there was Circle of the Moon, Aria of Sorrow, and then Harmony of Dissonance, which does actually you do actually play as a Belmont. There's something about the control scheme in that one that I just couldn't get in, like the control scheme and how the like jumping and movement handled, that I just couldn't get into. It's similar to the other ones, but it's just enough off that it was really making it hard for me to play. And that can be a thing in a lot of video games. Like, sometimes a game like is really interesting to you, has some great stories, you like everything about it, but you just can't get into the actual gameplay part. And that is sometimes frustrating with things. But also, that's why, game streaming exists. I love a lot of stuff about Darkest Dungeon. Very much not a cozy game. But I'm bad at it. I'm just bad at it. That's also a thing. Like, you can be bad at games that you do genuinely love.
I'm not very good at Sonic games. Like...
You could fool me considering how rough the...
Yeah, but, like, I get E ranks and don't clear a lot of the extra missions and stuff.
Okay.
Like, I'm not good at these games. Like, there are people who can, like... S-rank every stage. I don't think I've ever S-ranked a stage. Like, I'm not good at them.
Oh no. Do we get the cat? I think we get the cat. We will start summoning cats! Yeah, look, we got little kitties. Sometimes they help you. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they get infected themselves. Vampire Survivors is a very good game. Vampire Survivors is available on everything. It actually came out a few years ago and kind of exploded in popularity, and with good reason. It's quite a good time. Take the lightning ring. But yeah, and in comparison for... Let me think. Before I go back to the games that I do know a lot about, the ones I know less about... this will be a flashback for anybody who had a TI-83 graphing calculator, I believe. If you were depending on what your school's math classes were like, you might have been required to have one of these. And some people figured out there was enough memory on there that you could put the code for some old Game Boy games on your graphing calculator and play them. Including the original Castlevania. And that was a thing that a lot of people played at my middle school. I did not because I was bad at it. But yeah, if there's any Texas Instrument graphing calculator gaming fans out there, I see you. I recognize you. I remember those days. And for those of you who didn't know that calculators could in fact be gaming consoles, now you know. Wild times. Yeah, that's actually a thing with like video games where you will get to a point where, oh, we can just put this like old game that was groundbreaking at the time on like kind of anything we want because it's like the memory capacity for electronics has increased so much. Let's try to find that wardrobe. I actually don't know if we'll probably get the Aegis Parm. Being able to not take damage is nice. Do I have to beat that? I do not have to beat that big ol' monster again. Excellent. Okay. That's a teleporter. Yeah, most Castlevania games have some kind of like teleporter, where you will be able to just like travel through the castle, parts of the castle. Yeah. Parts of the castle instantly. Makes backtracking a lot easier, especially in the Metroidvania era where backtracking is kind of the point. Like, for example, in Circle of the Moon, one of the first things you get is the ability to double jump, to just add an extra jump while you're in midair. And then, not long after that, you get an ability that lets you break some, like, cracked bits of walls, or, like, cracked blocks that are obscuring your path. And that opens up new areas. And then you get other things that let you explore yet more of the castle. But it's a lot of, like, going one way, seeing things that you can't get past yet because you don't have the ability to traverse it, and then going back. It's a style of games that I genuinely enjoy. I think there's a lot to be said for like engineering things that aren't necessarily linear, so that and encouraging you to really like explore and find all the nooks and crannies in the world. Because there's cool things out there. You should go see what they are. But in Aria and Dawn of Sorrow, since you're playing as the reincarnation of Dracula, you don't have to worry about, like, relics and ancient holy weapons. No, you get to claim the souls of defeated monsters and then use their abilities as your own. So you can do things like, for things that are on screen right now, those armors with the axes, axe armors, as they're appropriately named, if you get one of their souls, you can throw an axe through the air, like they do. If you get the soul of something like a giant bat, you can turn into a bat and fly. Some of them don't necessarily make a ton of sense, but are just a cool ability, so they're like, we'll just throw it on this monster. Why not? So there's particularly in Aria and Dawn, there's a lot of options for how you can play through the game and like what sorts of weapons you want to have equipped, what sorts of souls you want to use for fighting all the various enemies. It's a pretty flexible game in that sense. If I had to recommend any one Castlevania game of the 3 that I've played, part of me wants to say, like, Aria of Sorrow is probably, like, the better game, but Dawn of Sorrow really doubles down on the, no, you get to earn your happy ending. And I really appreciate that, because it actually, in terms of the official timeline for the series, Aria and Dawn of Sorrow are at the very end of it. Like, that's the end of the story of Castlevania. Ends not with the destruction of the ancient evil that has been plaguing the world forever. It ends with the redemption of someone who fell into darkness and then gets to, like, have a happy ending. Like, I think there's really something to that, where it's like, yes, maybe Dracula, it was an irredeemable villain, but maybe, like, the man that he once was should in some way get a second chance. And I think that's really nice. And, like, the writing for it and the music at those pivotal scenes really sells it. But yeah. Also, since it happens in, 2035, have I thought about getting, slowly putting together an outfit that looks like Julius Belmont or Soma Cruz and wearing that to a New Year's Eve party in 2035? Maybe. Why not? Why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I do that? We will revive the power of tiramisu. Oh, thank you, Rosary. But yeah, Dawn of Sorrow, I just really like it. It's a fun time. It also has a real wide variety of, like, play styles for, like, the types of weapons you can use and whatnot. And for any of the DS era or Game Boy Advance era, which one of these do I want? We will take the crown. Don't bother trying to track down the originals, even if you do still have a Game Boy Advance or a DS. Just get the updated re-release collections. They're, like, you're getting, like, 3 to 4 games for, like, $20, depending on which one you're doing. And they just have a lot of extra, like, added quality of life features to them. Like, being able to save anywhere instead of just in, like, the designated save rooms in a given game, or, like, an in-game encyclopedia, or a rewind button, which is really useful sometimes. I love rewind buttons. Yeah, definitely go for those collections if you're interested in checking out a Castlevania game. I don't know if I'll play any of them on stream. I might play a little bit, mostly because they would be quite long, and just knowing how I play video games, it wouldn't necessarily be the best thing to, like, watch me play. Just because I tend to go kind of quiet while I'm playing them. Also because there's a lot of grinding to it. Like, there was a fair bit of grinding for microplastics and whatnot in Another Crap's Treasure, but there can be a lot of it in the Castlevania games. Just if you're trying to get, like, oh, I need to get this particular item that only has, like, a 2% drop rate from this particular enemy. Just watching me run out of a room, kill a monster in 3 hits, run back into a room for 2 hours is not great entertainment, so I probably won't play those on stream. But, like, I might do, like, the beginning of one of them at some point. Just because they're fun. But yeah. Trying to think other either Castlevania things, or actually, if there's any other questions people have about those games, or about FurPocalypse, please feel free. Yes, Oleander has mentioned the Panther Soul from Dawn of Sorrow. Yeah, farming for that one is a bit of a pain. Especially because it's so late in the game. Like, no, I just kind of want to finish the game. But, if you want the 100% completion, you got to get all the souls. For me, it was the Tsuchinoko soul. Tsuchinoko is a Japanese cryptid that is a snake that is fatter in the middle than it is at the rest of its body, and has a love of alcohol. If you get its soul in Aria of Sorrow, you get a very significant price discount at the shop. Yeah, as I mentioned in Circle of the Moon, there is no shop. In Aria of Sorrow, where you have just been randomly teleported into a mythical castle inside of an eclipse, a random U.S. Army officer who happened to be sent there decides, you know what? They didn't say anything about, crazy castle full of monsters. I choose to defect. I'm going to grab a bunch of weapons and gear that I found in the castle, and hey, if you guys want to risk your lives searching through the castle, you want to do the stuff? Yep. Thank you, Oleander. I think I may have just described Tsuchinoko exactly the same as Brian David Gilbert in the Sexiest Castlevania video. That was not an intentional quoting and fail to attribute, but it's also just an accurate description of that particular cryptid. We have some gold, so let's see if we can upgrade. We can get our final might upgrade. Yeah, and this is the list of, as you get more gold, you can unlock more abilities, make yourself stronger, etc. etc. How... Receives a hidden Sarvarg statue at level 5. Gets a bonus to most stats when Vampire Killer is equipped. Can find special pickups. Let's play as a Belmont. Why not? Let's actually play as a Belmont. Oh. Do I only attack in certain patterns? Oh, I don't know if I'm going to like that. This is not going to be good. This is... Well, we'll see how this goes. But, This... Congratulations, we've unlocked the Cozy does not necessarily approve of this video game thing. But we're getting garlic, thank you. Garlic just damages everything right around you and is kind of the best weapon in the game. I don't care that it doesn't necessarily scale as well as some of the other things. It makes the beginning so much easier. I can just run into these guys. This is great. This makes things so much nicer. I don't have to worry about the weird attack pattern of this whip. Leon, what's wrong with you? We'll take the Bible. But yeah. We touched on a little bit of Castlevania games being gothic fantasy and kind of classy. The Aria and Dawn take place in 2035 and 2036 respectively. But in the first one you're in Castlevania itself, so it's still all the gothic castle. In the second one, in Dawn of Sorrow, because the cult that you're fighting wants to, bring about their own version of Dracula, they took the time to build. Yeah, sure, we'll go with 2 whips. Why not? To build a recreation of Dracula's castle because they're just fans who got really out of hand. That's probably the best way to describe that cult. They're just big Dracula stans, and area up by 20%, damage up by 5. Yeah, sure. Let's keep improving. Let's keep improving Leon's whip when we get the chance. Oh, does it? Why am I leaving little bits of fire behind? Is that something that he gets specifically? Okay. Okay, hidden mechanics for the actual Castlevania characters. I'm here for it. Please let Julius Belmont be just he has better stats than everyone else because he is the greatest Belmont. Oh, I also hope that there is another hidden character because it would be funny. Named Hammer. He's the guy who turns into the merchant in Aria of Sorrow. Because originally he was going to be playable in Dawn of Sorrow. Because they made most of the other NPCs as like a playable trio that you could swap between, but they just didn't have time in development to add in a fourth playable character. So sadly, he didn't act. They made the assets for him, which you can find in like reference sheets, but they never actually made him properly playable, which is unfortunate. Garlic level 2 first. We'll take Garlic level 2 first because Garlic... Ooh, we get 3 upgrades from this one. But yeah. Castlevania games are fun. There's a reason the series went on so long. And then they did try to start a new continuity for it a while ago by making things kind of like a third-person brawler that looked like it played a little bit like the God of War games, and nothing really happened with that, and I don't know what the future holds for it.
Oh my god, there's also Castlevania Judgment for the Wii.
We don't talk about that.
Yes, we do, because it's the only one I had as a child.
Alright.
Oh my god, it's very bad and you shouldn't play it, but I did have it. Or I think a friend had it technically, but we played it at my friend's house enough that I remember it well. And it was I believe it was made by the Soul Calibur people, like in collaboration with some of the Soul Calibur people. And it's a Soul Cal style.
So it's like a fighting game?
Yeah, it's a fighting game.
Okay.
Which I'm notoriously not good at, so, I never particularly got good at it. And it's like this guy named Eon who has, he has a big old giant stopwatch. He's like a anime clock boy.
Okay.
Brings together a bunch of characters from across the Castlevania franchise for a fighting tournament, just because he wants to.
Alright, standard fighting game plot.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah. But it's notable for having all the character designs done by the guy from Death Note. Who, when he's not drawing, when he's not forced to draw Light Yagami in a suit and Elle in a long t-shirt all the time, he gets crazy with that stuff.
Nice.
But also, definitely only has, 6 or 7 faces that he can draw. But it's just really weird. It's really horny. It's very strange.
Definitely will not get played on this stream.
Will not be played on this stream. Deeply horny, mostly being the reason.
Is that a sickle?
There's a lot of the anime, the female characters discussing their chest sizes, having feelings about their chest sizes,
sigh.
Even the vampires are bigger than mine. Is an actual line from this game. It's not good. But it was my only interaction with the franchise at all for some time, which, if that's your only interaction with the franchise, then the Netflix series would not be that far. No, that's mean to the Netflix series, honestly. That's I have my criticisms, but that's not fair. Judgment is bad, y'all.
I think there was one other, because I was looking through the wiki for just reference images at one point. But there was another game that they made, I forget the name of it, where it was a similar, we're going to bring together a bunch of Castlevania characters. But in that one, it was a multiplayer one, so you could team up together. And Soma Cruz is in that. I just forget the name of it. Also, I don't know what console it's on, so I might never play it.
I have no idea if Soma is in Judgment, and if he is, he may not look like himself, because a lot of the characters look wildly off their traditional appearances.
Fair. Yeah.
I thought I was just doing whatever he felt like.
Yeah, it's already 8:15, so we probably won't actually be able to unlock Soma tonight. If I can find that second coffin, we might be able to at least unlock Julius. And Julius, how do I describe Julius Belmont's look? He kind of looks like your standard cowboy hobo adventurer. I don't have a better way of saying that. Like, he's got the brown leather duster. He's got the handkerchief around his neck. He's got the jeans. He's got the beat-up boots that are very nondescript. He just looks like that. And, like, also, he has in, Oh, right, I have rerolls. I forgot I have rerolls. Strange candy?
Yes, I got some weird, organic, gluten-free, vegan, Skittles.
Huh.
They
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting is the word I would use.
Interesting, not necessarily derogatory?
Yeah, they're not bad. They're just...
Oh, I can smell them now. They smell exactly like Double Bubble chewing gum.
They're called Yum Earth Organic Giggles. Chewy candy bites.
Huh. Neat.
I'm eating them by color because that's how I do these things.
As it should be.
They are irregular. They are not perfectly uniform and pressed like a Skittle. Sorry, this turned into a candy review, but...
Yeah.
I think these are green apple.
Always fun to get a, like, I guess it's this flavor.
I'm not good at identifying flavors. I just know it good.
Okay. Leon, leaving the little fire trails is nice as Leon. I really don't like his whip pattern. Like, I would not be doing this well if I didn't get that garlic early, y'all. Like, this is, the garlic is doing all the work here. As it does in most of my cooking. Oh, more new flavors?
Did you get these?
If I did, I haven't found them. I haven't really gone through my candy from trick-or-treating yet. We should do candy trades later, though.
We should.
Um,
Taj was on the first shift because we took turns.
I found floor Capri
Trick-or-treating.
Suns. They were Capri Suns that were just on the floor. Is this a painting or is this a secret door? It is just a painting.
A lot of people had already been pretty wiped out by the time Mika and I got down there.
Yeah, dang, like, things went fast.
This one's nice.
Just gonna keep exploring all of this. But yeah. Yeah, Vampire Survivors might be one that I, like, also pull up if I'm, like, between things and just want to, like, just chill and, like, I don't know, prepare a discussion topic like I kind of did this time for. But yeah, and I actually spent most of October replaying those 3 Castlevania games. I actually haven't quite beat Circle of the Moon yet because it's a little harder. Just because it is. Also because I wanted to play the Aria games first, or the Sorrow games first, because I really like them. So Circle of the Moon's a bit of a challenge, and then my next like personal thing in my personal gaming list is either Echoes of Wisdom or the Sonic Generations remake that we have. I might like alternate between the two of them because they'll be different enough gameplays that I can do that. 'Cause I have found that I can't like it's hard to for me to alternate between like 2 games that have very similar styles. They start blending together, or I start like mixing up the controls. But if they're 2 very different things, then it's a lot easier to deal with. So, a fast-paced platformer like Sonic and a Zelda game, yeah, we can swap between those. And actually, because I have we have a GameCube with a like Game Boy Advance attachment to it. So if I get a capture card for the GameCube, I could start streaming some of my old Game Boy Advance games, and that might be very fun because I have some like interesting little ones. I have the like licensed tie-in Treasure Planet game for Game Boy Advance. I'm pretty sure I still have that around somewhere. And that might be fun to see, like, how fast can I get through this game again? Because it's...
We should track down the Treasure Planet sequel game that person was talking about.
Yeah, that will be the one spoiler one. There at the space panel, there is in fact a Treasure Planet sequel.
I'm sorry to realize that was a secret.
No, it's okay. That like there's some other ones that I like that I will reveal later. But yeah, future stream absolutely will be the Treasure Planet sequel. Yes, it exists. It's a video game where it's based on the description at the panel. You basically play through like Jim Hawkins's like first proper year commanding a ship. After because at the end of Treasure Planet, for those who don't remember, he gets like a letter of recommendation to go join the Naval Academy because of everything that happened.
Like, apparently it's just a case of like someone just got a game license and just went way harder than they needed to.
Like, it apparently has like a very active like fan community for like modding in extra levels, extra new ships, all kinds of stuff. Like, very dedicated community for this. So I will absolutely be tracking that down at some point. If anyone finds it, message me and I will absolutely pay you back for it. But I will find it. I definitely will find. I like finding old games on my own. So, but if it gets to be like a year from now and I haven't found it, I might enlist other people's help. But, but yeah, that'll definitely be one. And then there's other things that they suggested that will stay secret. But Treasure Planet is good.
Sorry, I forgot we were keeping them secret. That's my bad.
No worries. Like,
I just remembered that I had been so delighted to learn of its existence.
yeah, it was genuinely like the one person who brought it up in a room of like 30 people got one response of, "Oh yeah, they did make that," and everyone else going, "Wait, what? Tell me more immediately."
What on earth are you talking about?
But yeah. Oh, hello, little flaming skeleton friends. Oh, there's a lot of you now. Oh, there's a... What's going on? Why am I moving like that? We're gonna take the... I don't... Oh, this is actually a proper side-scroller now. That's what it was. This is... It's turned into a proper Castlevania side-scroller.
Oh.
Okay. Oh no. That's a boss door. What's going on? What is that? Oh no. I don't have... What?
Hello?
I have a duplicate? Oh, I have a duplicate and it wants to murder me.
Kill your double.
I can't jump. I can't... Okay, we're gonna revive. We're gonna burn a revive on this. I don't know how I'm supposed to... Oh, am I slowly getting my abilities back? Because I just got garlic back. Okay. Okay, up is jump. Okay. This is new. This is very new. Okay, alright, we've got... Okay, do I have one more revive? I think I have one more revive. Okay. And my double appears to have Rune Tracer and daggers, which is not a great combo to be fighting against, but we might have him trapped. I also have a very small amount of health regen, so if I can like keep keep kiting this guy, I might be okay. Those who don't know, kiting refers to staying very mobile and still being able to damage the enemies in a video game. I don't actually know what games... Ah, there I go. Well, that was... Oh, I have another revive. Okay, yeah, let's go. Aha! We have defeated ourselves. That was really cool.
That was fun. A fun little twist in the gameplay.
Oh, I might have to play more of this. Probably not on stream, because I do want to get back to Battle Chef Brigade. That will be next week. Stream next week might also be on Tuesday instead of Monday, just because my mom is actually coming up to visit. So we might... I might be occupied on Monday evening. Or we could have my mom join on stream. No.
That would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious, but also no. My mother does not game. That would be.
She is not a gamer.
Like, I can think of a small number of things that might be funny to have her commentary during, but probably not.
I had an amusing discussion with my mom today, where I was saying that I was planning to play a bunch of video games soon, and she was saying, "Cool, you can tell me about them, and I will nod and pretend I understand anything you're saying." My family's very pro info dumping, and she said it'll be funny because I'll get confused about which game you're talking about, so I'll be mixing up Sonic and Baldur's Gate 3 characters. I actually played Dragon Age, but she knows Baldur's Gate 3 kind of. And then I said, "Oh, that'd be funny." I'm trying to think about who would be funny to have interact. And off the top of my head, I said Shadow and Asterion, and my mom goes, "Actually, I know just enough to know this. Shadow would hate Asterion." It just made me laugh very hard. Because she's right. Shadow would be like, "I'm brooding, but you're annoying." Stop it. Whereas Rouge would see Asterion and be like, "I can make him worse." That's two white bats.
Yep.
In collaboration.
Yep.
To do crime.
Oh. But yeah. More throwing sickles. Or curved knife. Sorry. Technically, it's a curved knife. Whoa, that was a bone arc! Oh! Sorry, the ones that are the two skeletons carrying the dragon skull, those are also in Dawn of Sorrow, and if you get their soul, you get carried around on the little palanquin, and you use the dragon skull as a lounge chair. It's very funny. It's really good. You just get to lounge there and be invulnerable while it's happening. It has a very, very high resource cost, though. But it's so fun. There's the duplicator. Oh. Some sort of relic thing that I just got. I don't know what it does. But yeah, a duplicator is probably one of the better items to get in this because it adds an extra projectile. If I had a regular whip, oh, you can actually see it happening with this one now. No, actually, if I had a regular whip, it would actually add a second backswing to it, which is really nice. Because the base whip that was in Vampire Survivors is not great until you get a few upgrades. Which would kind of be said of most weapons in this game, but the whip is where I particularly find that to be the case the most. But I'm sure there's people out there who love the whip. Don't know if there's anybody who... Yeah, there's probably people who also love the daggers. I don't, but, to each their own. I think I've mentioned it in other games that I tend to prefer, the boring but practical solutions. Like, I really like the garlic in this game because it just gives you a little area of effect thing that can deal with a lot of the early monsters very quickly. In the Monster Hunter series, I really like a skill called Speed Sharpen, so that you just, sharpen your weapon a lot faster. And also stun resistance, so you can't just be trapped in a little cycle of being dazed by monsters that are, dinosaurs 30 times bigger than you and want to eat you. Oh, there's a lot of very big things. Are these skeletal centaur things? These are just amalgamations of bones. I'm not a fan. Hello, large demon. Goodbye, large demon.
You said that right as I re-entered the room. I was like,
Oh
rude.
no! Sorry! No! I'm talking about the one that's in like the top corner! See? The green one with the big paws!
Fine, I knew you were talking to the game. It was just funny.
Ooh, mysterious flasks. What should be in these? At least these strange bone centaur things don't seem to have a lot of health.
I like them. They're terrible. What a horrid creature. I love it.
Ah, these test tubes are broken. Oh, also, because I haven't mentioned it, and I just realized I've kind of been shrimping. Shrimp check and hydrate check, everybody. Make sure you've got decent posture, and make sure you stay hydrated.
Yes.
Advantage of this game, I can, in fact, play it one-handed. Because all I'm doing is moving the joystick around for movement. I think if it was mouse and keyboard, you could probably just use the mouse and angle things around. Yay! Getting less damage when I get hurt. But yeah. Yes, next week... I think next week I might plan on streaming on Tuesday, but we will see how things go. Or possibly later in the week, because I know I initially had like Thursdays as my backup. Those are Gorgons from Dawn of Sorrow.
Because we sometimes have D&D on Tuesdays.
That's a good point. Yeah, so yeah, next week we'll plan on streaming on Thursday, just because, people, yeah, my mom's visiting. But yeah, and we'll get back to Battle Chef Brigade when we do, so... Hopefully we'll finish that up soon, and then I have a couple of, yeah, we'll get the armor. I have a couple of, probably, one-stream, one-off games that I have in mind, and then I actually have a particular game in mind for the Christmas season. Oh, there's a lot of you. You don't have a lot of health, so I can just kind of keep mowing through y'all. But yeah. Hello, Bone Towers. I remember you. You just sort of sit there and spit fire, as is your wont. Is there a map to this? Not really. There probably is a map somewhere, but it would have to be the sort of thing where I print it out or draw a sketch and stick it to the side of my monitor. Which I do kind of miss from old video games, where it's no, you want to know where you're going? Take notes. But also, I really like in-game maps because they're nice. It's a chance to get more fun art of the world, like in Another Crab's Treasure, and then they made it a blanket, and I love it. Yeah. Hello, Minotaur. Hello, Skeleton Apes. Hello, purple something holding its own head with a sword? Where is this second coffin? Ooh, that's Teleport Circle. Let's see what it does. These are... Oh, those are supposed to be disc armors. Okay. Yeah. Ah, I cannot use this teleporter. Perhaps I need to find another one first. That would be probably fitting. But yeah, it's just been a fun time. I wanted to play through this and have a chance to like talk about the off-stream games that I was playing, since I went through those 3 Castlevania games for spooky season. And yeah, and then we'll get back to Battle Chef, do some other things. I will probably... There's one that I want to do and see if I can get through it in one stream. It might go a little long, but it's a platformer that I very much enjoy called Freedom Fall. And we'll get to that when we get to it. But I can probably clear that whole game in one go. And I want to test myself again. Oh, that's a lot of disc armor. There's a lot of tough boys in here. Let's keep moving. What will I get? What will I get? Another spellbinder. That's nice. It's especially useful for the King Bible, because it keeps them up and spinning longer. I think it might also keep those flames that I keep leaving behind active for longer as well. It would technically be a timed effect. Okay, so it looks like I just went in a big old circle up there because I'm seeing dropped items that I missed before, which is nice because it means I can pick all these up and, get some experience and a level out of it. We will take the King Bible. We will throw books at all of the creatures of the night. Yeah, let's see where this will take us. We'll do some proper Castlevania backtracking. Oh, right, this is where I was. This is where it became 2D. Right. Yeah. Just jump over the enemies that you don't want to face. It's fine. It's totally fine. Oh, this is where we'd probably have to fight Gurgoth like this. Right, I should tell people about Gurgoth, because I was specifically requested to. So, Gurgoth is a boss that shows up in Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, and if you start with like a T-Rex as your base design. Oh, hello, giant flying portraits. If you start with like a T-Rex as your base design, but then turn the feet into like elephant feet, the mouth into something with like flat incisors like a horse, and just fully get rid of the tiny little vestigial arms, and then just make it zombified, you get Gurgoth, and you fight it in a very cramped area. It stomps back and forth. It tries to bite you. I forget if it... it tries to bite you. It tries to stomp on you. It fires a giant laser beam out of its mouth for no readily apparent reason other than it's a video game boss. It should have a giant mouth laser. And then halfway through the fight, the tower that you are fighting it in, the floor collapses and you have to... you fall down and then have to fight it in a basement. It's kind of great. And I will have to fight it as Julius if I want to unlock Soma. Also, the large black-feathered entity that's there is also from the Dawn of Sorrow games. That is the boss Malphos, which is one of the early bosses. It gives you the double jump in Dawn of Sorrow. It also throws a bunch of feathers at you. It has various attacks, and I believe is one of the demons mentioned in the Key of Solomon, which is like an old occultism text. Yeah, it's just there. Oh, hey, there's the regular whip. You know what? Let's reroll. Let's see what we get. Ooh, we will take the Rune Tracer, my beloved. Yeah, we're getting like 3 Rune Tracers right now because I have the like out of run menu item for the duplicator and a in-run duplicator. So we're getting 2 extra projectiles. I'm gonna stay here until we can beat Malphos because it's a cool boss and I want to fight it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and Circle of the Moon, like Dawn and Aria of Sorrow have the alternate mode where you get to play as Julius Belmont for the like bad ending. Circle of the Moon doesn't have that, but it does have alternate game modes where instead of playing as different characters, you have different different abilities. Like I mentioned, Nathan uses the whip, and then also different combinations of these like spell cards. But you have to find those cards hidden throughout the castle, and they're dropped. Different cards are dropped by different enemies. They have pretty low percentages for actually getting them, and it can be a bit of a slog to get all the like really cool ones that you might want. One of the different game modes after you beat the game for the first time has you with much lower stats, but you start with access to all of those cards at once. So you can use like all the crazy combinations and like do things that you might not be able to do normally until much later. And then there's like a different one where it completely removes those cards but increases all of your other stats, kind of to compensate for it. There's one that makes your like sub weapons, which are like throwing knives and like other interesting things, much more effective and much more viable. And then there's a mode where all of your stats are terrible except for luck. So the goal is to really abuse the fact that your enemies can sometimes drop useful items and just start stockpiling things and use that to your advantage to compensate. So yeah, you don't get to play as other characters, but you get a bunch of different ways of playing as Nathan Graves. So there are so many portraits coming through here. Oh, perfect. Time stop. But yeah, always a good time. Always fun to like talk about old games that you enjoyed and replay old games from your childhood. Is there? I mean, this is roughly a map. Doesn't help me much. I guess the skulls are probably the big bosses. That's a question mark. Maybe that's like another coffin. I also might do the thing where I buy a game on 2 different consoles because sometimes I like playing things on... I like playing certain games more on different things. Because I also have Vampire Survivors on my Switch, and I tend to enjoy it more on my Switch. Just it's fun. This is a very fun game to like just pick up and like play a run or 2 of. And I don't necessarily want to like boot up my whole computer if I'm, if it's like, I just, I've got like half an hour to wait. I can do a run of Vampire Survivors, but I don't want to have to boot up my whole computer to do that, and I can't, take it with me on a train or something. So I have it on my Switch. But yeah, being able to portable gaming is nice. That's why I've always been a Nintendo guy, and like peripherally a PlayStation guy, mostly because I haven't had a PlayStation in the past, but like friends of mine have, so yeah. I have an appreciation for it. I have no real thoughts on Xboxes. That it exists. I haven't really played things on it. I don't know what any exclusive games are on it. We seem to be getting past the era of like console exclusivity, and I can only view that as a good thing.
Yeah, I feel like it's less and less common.
Yeah. Okay, there's the end of that.
We had a 360, but it was like very much something that I never touched. It was like all my brother and his friends played the stuff on this 360.
Huh. Okay. We got 15 minutes left. Best case scenario, a run of Vampire Survivors goes for about 30 minutes. So we'll do one more and see how well it goes. We will.
I think because of that, even though I think that video games are for everyone, I did always think that Xboxes are for boys. Because it was just so, like, every, like, 12-year-old boy I knew was like, my Xbox! My Xbox! And it just, I just have an association now.
Fair.
Like, Xboxes are for boys.
We're going to go back to Gavallo, because Leon was fun, but I like being able to throw the projectiles and to get extra projectiles as I level up. But, yeah, I don't... Yeah, I don't
Like,
know.
I don't know. For me, in my mind, PlayStation and Nintendo are gender neutral, but Xbox is boy-coded. And I don't mean male, I mean boy.
Yeah, like teen boys.
It is a console for boys.
Yeah.
For teen boys.
Okay, yeah, no, I can get that.
It's the console for lads.
Yeah. Is Call of Duty on Xbox?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
I think it's on everything, but it's also on Xbox.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I always see it played, I feel like. And this is just one of those, like, weird, like, when we talk about gender as a social construct, this is what we mean. Like,
Yeah.
like, that's silly, and it means nothing. But also, I know I feel it in my bones.
Alright, Rune Tracer. Yeah, I really like the Rune Tracer item in this. Like, I like having the cool bouncing projectile that goes everywhere. Especially because if you, like, really level it up, you just get, like, a bunch of them bouncing all over the screen and just going through enemies. It's fun. It's very fun. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of any other, like, weird console things from growing up. Because, like, starting with, like, the Game Boy Advance SP, I kind of, like, through either, like, doing odd jobs or, like, sometimes an allowance, I was able to, like, save up and, like, stay up to date with, like, Nintendo handhelds, but I never really had consoles and certainly didn't have them, like, the current generation of them by any means. Notably, I eventually got a GameCube because a friend of mine got a Wii and then spent about 1.5 years trying to sell his GameCube to me. And I just kept saying, like, no, I'm not going to buy it for that much money. And eventually he sold me his old GameCube for, like, $40. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'll take that. Good trade. Good trade. Like, patience is sometimes pays off. Especially if you know it's not anything that you, like, have to have now. You can just, if it's something that can wait, it can keep waiting sometimes. But yeah. I'm also a big fan of, like, used games and, like, going through old stores just to see what they have. 'Cause the other advantage of playing older games is people have figured out, like, if there's anything that's, like, a really hard part of a game, is like, okay, here's how to get past this one part of it, because it is kind of a pain, but, like, and the game doesn't always tell you how to, like, actually get through here in a way that makes sense. Yeah. Stuff like that. Okay, where is this cabinet? We're going to try to find... That's what we're going to do. We're not going to try to find Julius. We can't try to get Soma unlocked. But we are going to find this darn wardrobe. Okay, and then it just locks us... Aha! It was a hidden door! Armadillo allows you to choose an extra passive weapon. Interesting. Oh! Oh, you choose. Well, then we're taking the duplicator. We have to take the duplicator. Okay. That's busted. Alright. Alright. Noted. Seen. Heard. Okay. Yeah, I might be playing Vampire Survivors as like a thing before bed. In the foreseeable future. I gotta catch up on my journals first. Yeah, I didn't used to be a person who like kept a daily journal, but I kind of started to do one as like a New Year's resolution. Would that be last year or the year before? No, I think it was the year before. Yeah, because I think it was the end of 2022 that I started doing it. But it's honestly been nice. Like, it's a way to like, you know, sometimes when you just have a busy week and it's like, what did I even do? Having the like, you know, oh, I wrote down what I did. It's nice to remember. It's also a good way to like kind of force yourself to find good things in a day. I don't know. Maybe that's cheesy, but it's been nice having that daily journal. It's useful. Also, because I am chronically one of those people who just takes notes on things. Like I've always had tiny little blue notebooks on me since like 8th grade. Just I always have. So having like a dedicated space for what happened today is nice. Then my little notebooks can stay as like to-do lists and doodles and whatnot. I'm not gonna bother with the little curved knife because I didn't. It was fine, but it wasn't like a great weapon. So we'll. Okay. I should probably try to find some of these other like bosses and whatnot. So. We'll go up. Let's see what we can do. But yeah, we're getting close to the end of the stream, which means I'm probably losing a bit of steam. We'll take the King Bible. The Alchemy Whip is fun, but no, I really don't like that attack pattern. And have a bit more water. Water, it's refreshing. Looks like there is a boss that's like straight down from somewhere out in the main area. So you know what? Let's go back outside. I actually have seen that as like there have been a few video games I've played where like you beat the game, the credits roll, and it's like, congratulations, you beat our game. Now please go outside. Just like not in a like just to like you just finished our video game. It has like a long dramatic ending to it. You've probably been sitting here trying to beat the final bit for a little bit. Maybe go take a break. And you know what? That's good advice. There's, like, I like playing video games. Like, that's why I'm streaming stuff. But also, like, I do genuinely enjoy going for, like, walks in the woods and, like, going for a hike or something. Like, we have our dog Sunny, and, like, going for walks with him is really nice.
It's important to go outdoors.
Yeah. Yeah, important to go outdoors, important to, like, see nature. Open a treasure chest. Excuse me. Still getting back on the sleep schedule after the convention, because there's the oft-cited suggestion of 6 hours of the 6-2-1 rule at conventions, which is 6 hours of sleep, 2 solid meals, and 1 shower every day. No, just slathering on extra deodorant does not count. Also, 5 boxes of Pocky does not count as a meal. And I did the 2 solid meals every day. I think there was one day where I actually didn't take a shower. That's on me. But 6 hours of sleep every night? Sometimes we make bad choices. Why am I Oh, because I reset my... Did I reset my power-ups? Okay. Well, you know, we'll just, we'll stick with the cross. Why not? 'Cause it's actually a boomerang! Yeah, why they have, like, a throwing cross as a common staple thing in Castlevania games and things that are homages to Castlevania, I don't know. It does show up in Circle of the Moon, and it is probably the best sub-weapon in the game. You can get it kind of early if you go a little bit out of your way. I think you can get it before the second boss. You can certainly get it before the third, and you might need it for the third. Because anything that can regenerate health is going to be a pain. I don't like it when enemies get to heal in games. It's not... No, that's the thing that I get to do. That's my thing. I'm the hero. But yeah. Like, it's not like a, oh, I won't play this game anymore. It just feels like, no, that's my thing. Okay, this is a... Oh, it's not... Those individual buildings are mausoleums, but I don't know what a gathering of mausoleums is, or if it's just a graveyard with extra steps. Also, I don't know if they're from what Castlevania game they're from, but I love these red street sharks looking friends. Okay, let's follow this green arrow. Is this the one that just leads me to the teleporter room? Oh, a hidden area. So a lot of those hidden areas in this. I should probably... Is that a map? Is there an actual... The Castlevania map. Okay. Yep, detailed map went in ode to Castlevania. Alright. That is a heck of a... Okay. Yeah, we have a proper map.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Ah, but it only does for areas you've been to before. Alright. Alright, we can make this work. We can make this work. Yeah, I don't think I'll play this... It'll be a while before I play this again on stream. I'll certainly leave it at that, but I will probably play it more off-stream on my Switch. Maybe even on PC at some point. We'll see. Oh, looks like there was another boss farther down. You know what? Let's go back down. Let's reverse course, because that boss looks like it's closer. And it seems that defeating bosses is what unlocks new areas. So, oh right, this is the boss. You know what? We'll wait a little bit for our health to recharge, because I know we have. That's what we'll do. Hang on, we'll grab that. Oh, okay, a lot of enemies. We will kite our way around. Oh no. Okay, well, revive. Thank you. We're gonna go grab the spicy curry. And we're going to burn our way through all of the enemies! Mwahaha! Santa water, thank you. Oh, that's a man-eater! Okay, that's from Circle of the Moon. It's a giant man-eating plant that also spits seeds at you and tends to have giant wasps nearby because it's evil. Okay. Well, we at least cleared out a bunch of enemies, and we have now a bunch of EXP drops that we can utilize, so we can keep, hopefully, dodging around things. I don't have garlic, and I'm acting like I do. I should not. Should not fall into that trap. That is the one downside of this game. Is like, in the last run, I had all this crazy stuff. Oh, I don't have that anymore. I gotta think. There's little mushroom guys in here, too. Just keep dodging, just keep dodging, just keep dodging. Gonna collect all this experience, and there we go! Goodbye, giant man-eating plant. Oh, hello, cave trolls! Yeah, these little, like, brown spiky boys are cave trolls. They show up in Dawn of Sorrow, and they can, like, attack with a really long chameleon tongue. And if you get their soul, you can attack with a really long chameleon tongue, too. Alright, lightning ring. But it has not dropped anything new and fancy that lets me get to new areas yet. So you know what? We'll just keep exploring. Aha! We've hit the tree line. We cannot go any further. Very well. We will go north. Yeah, get all this stuff that we had in here. Hello, Gorgon, of some kind. Gather up all this experience. Yeah. Oh, and like I said, this game can only run for like 30 minutes. That's because if you hit the 30-minute mark, death itself shows up and kills you. There is an alternate game mode where you can just keep playing for as long as you want to, but the way that Vampire Survivors enforces the roguelike having to do multiple runs is eventually you just, nope, the run is over. That's it. That's all you get. Which is, you know, it works for this as in terms of game design. So I can't really fault them. Yeah. Keep chugging our way through here. Hello, friends. Oh, need more water. Water and a cough drop. Because. Alright, let's see what this boss is. This is not from a game that I recognize. It's a cool design. It looks like a giant bull, and then the back half is just skeleton. But, yeah, this is not one that I've faced in any of the games I've played. Oh, yeah. Oh, now we will attract all of the little errant bits of experience that I have somehow missed. Oh, and now we are ringed in. We are ringed in by weeds. Oh, hello, demon friend. You're back. Good of you to join us. Probably not actually good of you to join us. We don't need more helpers. right?
Sorry, I was out for a moment, but I
No
returned.
worries.
And look at that big fella.
Yeah. Like I say, he's like kind of like a bowl thing with, you know, only the front half.
Oh, there's some chicken down there.
Oh, yep. Yeah, I'm basically full on health, so I
Don't do
probably don't need it, but I want to try to get this chest.
I love the little, like, ribbon things that come out of the chest.
Yeah,
They look so odd.
it's really
They
good.
don't quite fit with the rest of the graphics, but I kind of like it.
Yeah. Make some swirly magic.
Also, I just enjoyed the panda guy.
It's really good. I love him. Also that he had like a lot of... Oh, we just have really big wolves now. Alright, sure. I do like that like all the different characters have like a slightly different thing that they do, and our panda friend here gives you extra projectiles as you make him stronger, and that's just everything I wanted in this game. It's like, no, give me all of the things that just fill the screen with projectiles and bounce around and do things. Like, that's what I'm here for. I'm here for this to become a little bit visually overstimulating. Okay, excuse me, Mr. Skeleton Bull, can you please perish? Am I even doing that? Okay. I'm gonna stand here and just keep dealing damage to you until the time stop ends. And oh, okay, we're still going. Okay. There we go. All right. Thank you. Yep. You get an extra projectile, and you get an extra projectile, and you get and now we get a triple chest. All right. Santa water and 2 lightning rings. Perfect. My mustache is itchy. Aha! A new weapon. Rock Riot fires projectiles from a fixed location. Okay. Oh, and because I got that from a boss, it gives me the extra weapon for free without having to substitute things. Yeah, because normally you can only get the up to 6 weapons. Interesting. Okay. Okay, we're just getting treasure chests all over the place now. This is fine. This is fine. I'm very here for this. More Rune Tracer is always good. Okay. Yeah, now we're getting into the slightly overstimulating with how much is going on screen. But it just means we'll just keep moving. We'll keep throwing everything we have at all of the enemies around. Oh, that's what it is. It's those glowing that glowing panel, those glowing panels there. That's what's dropping the rocks. Okay. Yeah, we'll reduce our cooldown. That can be our final item. That's fine. Alright, that's not the most interesting weapon. Or not the most... It doesn't quite fit my list of things, but as a free one on top of everything else, sure, why not? Yeah, I guess we go inside the castle now. Actually, it's about 9:10, and I don't super expect to get too far. Well, yeah, let's just see how... Let's see it. We'll go through. We'll see how far we can get. I'm sure if nothing else, we will hit the 30-minute timer, and we will have our run ended for us. But in the meantime, we can just enjoy having all of the projectiles going every which way. We should probably try to get inside the castle, though, because then all the projectiles will bounce off walls, and it will be even more of a problem for our enemies. Aha! Extra rocks. Base area up by 20%, cooldown reduced. Excellent. Come on, out of my way, out of my way, out of my way, out of my way. That was a lot of my health, but you know what? It's fine. We don't need to be cautious. We have the power of violence on our side. At least video game violence. Oh! Oh, I didn't notice that tree before. That is deeply uncomfortable. I don't like that. Nope. We're gonna leave. We're gonna leave. I don't like that. Nope. Creepy tree. Go away. Do I have to go back past the creepy tree? I have to go back past the creepy tree. Yep. Okay. Alright. We're gonna fight our way through this little patch, and we're gonna avoid the creepy tree, and we're gonna go back to the castle, and we're gonna go try to punch a vampire in the face. That'll be fine. Just all of the cherry blossom explosions are really great. Just like, yeah, we're fighting the hordes of the undead with pretty colors. Oh. So much happening on screen. This is great. Yeah, here we go. Now we have like rune tracers going off in this opening hallway, just bouncing off of everything. Oh. Revive. And... oh, I might actually have to wait for things to be destroyed so I can actually get through things. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We're just gonna wait. This is why I really like having garlic, so that if things get too close to me, they also get hurt. And there we go again. That's the end of it. Okay. Well, with that, another stream comes to a close. That'll be all for this week. We'll be back next week on Thursday for continuing Battle Chef Brigade. Hopefully finishing that up in like 1 or 2 more streams. And going from there.
Thank you for having me on for this one.
Yeah, no problem. Absolutely. And yeah, until next week, stay safe and stay cozy, everybody. Have a great night.